We are back with Rachael Cabral-Guevara, Republican candidate for State Senate District 19 in the Fox Valley. I would be remiss if I did not ask you Roe versus Wade and where you stand on that issue.
Wonderful. So I am pro-life. I do, though, honor the exceptions, rape, incest, health of the mother.
And I'm sure you've heard this term, Roe-vember. How much of a difference do you think Roe versus Wade decision is going to play in this election?
I think it's going to be big.
I mean, either statewide or nationally. You do think it's going to be big?
I do. When I go out on doors, it's a subject that comes up quite often.
Really?
People are passionate about it on both sides, and I think they want their voices to be heard.
Yeah. Other big issue, inflation. Who do you blame? or is there blame to go around?
Well, I can point fingers at administrations, right?
Right.
But I think the biggest issue is, are we being responsible with our spending? Are we being responsible with our spending? We have a budget in our household, we have a budget in our state, we have a budget in our country. Are we being fiscally responsible with the money that we have and not overspending money we don't have, which we know directly impacts inflation? And so one thing that I've really hit hard is responsible spending, accountability for spending, and not spending money if we don't have it, right, on a federal level as well as in our state. Now, I know with COVID, we got a lot of ARPA funds, which have been used in many different areas throughout our state to help during the pandemic. Okay, I'm well aware of that. But at what point do we now have to come back a little bit and say, okay, where are our debts, not only in our state, but our country, and what do we need to address that, which does impact inflation? So I can sit and point fingers all day long, but I think we all need to reflect on where we are and really look at the spending that we're doing and if we need to make changes and adjustments.
We've got plenty of jobs out there and not enough people taking those jobs. What do we need to do to fill that gap?
That is a tricky one. As I go around to many of the businesses and corporations and different professions, everywhere, across the board. I don't care if it's restaurants, police department, I don't care if it's manufacturing, retail, everybody is saying we need to get more workers. Number one, encouraging people to get on out and work. That is number one. Number two, maybe recruiting from other states. I know there were some different approaches to address the police department shortage that we're having in our state and possibly attract other people from other states. Making Wisconsin appealing to this entire country and letting people know, why do you want to move to Wisconsin? By doing that, we can get more folks in here to keep our economy flowing.
Big issue in our state, especially with this gubernatorial campaign, education. Obviously, with Governor Evers coming from being state superintendent and
Yes.
Tim Michaels taking his stance of spending too much on education. Yeah. How are we doing from the legislative standpoint? Are we spending enough on education? Are we doing enough for education? Or could we do better?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if I'm correct, we have allotted the most money, tax money, to public education in Wisconsin, I believe, history. The amount of money that was allocated in our budget, as well as with the ARPA funds, is record numbers, okay? Now, I will tell you, I do have a lot of folks that have contacted me about school choice. Right now, we work on a voucher program. I do admit I am a fan of universal school choice. I know a lot of families are out there saying, Rachel, are there other options so that we might be able to qualify for this across the state, not based on geographic area or income area? It is a hot topic, and I think this will definitely be addressed next session. I am going to support universal school choice if that is brought up, and I will fight for that. Parents should get an opportunity if they want their children to go to public or private, and the support on the doors has been repetitious. You know, they're just saying, make sure this happens.
The issue you brought up that we talked about the last time you were here, transportation, highways. We're still talking about transportation and highways, and things still aren't getting done. The transportation fund always seems to be in the red. Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel there? Are we ever going to get this thing taken care of?
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier here, Tom. Last time when I was here, you said, how are we going to address this? And I sat here fumbling, saying, transportation? I'm going into this for health care. Transportation.
Sure.
So that was the topic that I actually went down to Madison, and I had talked to Joint Finance about and Representative Bourne about and some of the other people and said, okay, people are saying we're really struggling with this. What are we going to do about it? And they said, well, increase the funding through the budget. And I have to say, I went in there and supported that. I guess we put in petitions of sorts or requests for increased budgeting for different areas. That is something that I fought for, and there was increased budgeting within the transportation fund this year in the budget. So that's something I feel proud about. Now, has it addressed all the issues? It has not addressed all the issues. They will continue to come. But again, where do people want to get hit with the taxation, right? We talked about that last time. Is it toll roads? Is it increased taxation at the gas? Is it increased registration fees? I mean, all of these things people don't want, but how do we address the issue then? And for me, I looked at it as, well, if we increase funding in the budget, then it's universal across the board, and here we are. Hasn't solved all the issues, but I feel that the increase in the allotment in that budget is showing that it's an issue for many and that it will be continued to be addressed, hopefully in the increased revenues that are projected this year in the next budget.
Wisconsin's so dependent on tourism. How are we doing on the environment? Are we paying enough attention? Are we giving enough money to the environment?
Now we're going to move from me being stumped on transportation to me being stumped on environment, Tom. Oh, I'm going to have to go down in Madison and talk to people about this too. My personal opinion on it is I am very much, and I've criticized on this at times, an environmentalist. You know, I drive a Prius.
Okay.
But I also love to get outdoors and do different activities throughout our state of Wisconsin. I personally think that it is a draw here in Wisconsin for tourists to come and see what do we have up in Ashland, what do we have in Neenah with our great water resources, what do we have over in Wapaka. I know that there's been some legislation on PFAS that will be brought up again next session in regards to pollution of the water and so forth. Representative Elijah Banky up north from here really hit that hard. So I look forward to working more with him on that and addressing that as one of the many issues environmentally that we have. But overall, I think we're doing pretty good.
Let's keep it up then. All right. We are back to wrap up after this. Stay with us.